Welcome to Dungeon Master. That today was going to be the day that I took on the Final Fantasy dungeon. Well, that dungeon disappeared somewhere on top of Mount Ordeals in Final Fantasy II. And now we are here at the Grand Guinal to go through the dungeon of a lifetime. That we went through a dungeon outside of a dungeon in a car Grand Theft Auto is more reason I think the internet has been quiet for me. But Dungeon Master suffers alas to realize these are the long takes of Fuyard, which last longer than some Mizoguchi takes, although Mizoguchi's pulled some big ones. And the long take competition drives through the nail of what this one is about. And I can't even begin to describe to you how secretive I have to keep this and why that's probably a witch or a vampire back there with the broom. And we shouldn't really look into that because these men know what they're doing and they're top class and they're ready for action. And that they'll always be responsible because they're the constable is a given. Now that he's going in there, Vep was in the uniform or she was in a different one. I can watch this and see things go on in it that are so mysterious that I can't tell you what they are. Because even if I had a plan to tell you what they are, I would have to delve into the extreme realms of the occult to get into the black magic straight from hell that we use to even watch a movie like this, because to sustain it for 5 minutes is just like what we've got to do to get through it. Is to sell our souls. To even see one of these movies is to sell our souls completely. And to even know these movies exist, these vampire movies by Fuyard, it scares me what he was thinking at the time, how terrifying our movies will be at the Grand Guinal now, and that they were almost as terrifying as the live act, which still took it really into the realism realm, is not exactly entirely the reason it's so realistic too. That what we're seeing is basically going on like a dream, and that these takes are so viciously unwounded with any flaw, is teaching me to again pull out of desire and go straight into bliss. That I desire the bliss of this movie is only getting crazier. So I think what we'll do instead is maybe under controls that we, try this one. Where's it at? Scan forward. And then we hit click on the menu and hit play, because now we're somewhere else. And this is the one I wanted to get to. And as Dungeon Master, I think I have the right to fast forward this because we're not watching a replica of the Thunder Master. See, I know you've all paid for this episode and thought, well, we should turn down the KMSA in the background and somehow let Dungeon Master just become an episode of a movie we've never seen that we've always wanted to and we're always told to. That Satan and I probably brought him here is because I'm Dungeon Master and we deal on a regular basis on the origin of my strangeness. I knew him, but I don't know him anymore, and now that he's in France, I really don't want to have anything to do with the guy, although I do have to respect that he does control the world. And that he's about to blow everything up with a cannon is just so cool because he's got his cannon in the trunk. I mean, if this isn't just the perfect family gathering to see this shot. I mean, if Dungeon Master doesn't call us around to see the devil himself, Satan himself. I forgot they were different, I'm always forgetting that. And he's going to owe it, because I've talked to both of them. Both of them think that I owe him one, and I already sold my soul long ago to a bigger demon than them, so don't even question it. It was like the Titan of demons, bro. It was called Comparative Religions 101, and it really destroyed my working relationship with the fact that I like to be more of an atheist, and then I think Fuyard is kind of laying off the psychology in the atheist realm in the utility of these vehicles He's showing, oh, shut up, you. This is Dungeon Master, not some class about Fuyard. I knew this would happen. I knew if I even said one or two things that I've learned about this movie, you would freak out and just want me to film the whole thing. Well, there's your train, buddy. You like trains going by? There's your train. No, I'm teasing. I like trains going by. That was a quick train. Whoa. In France, do they really have small trains like that?
And then meanwhile, at the professor's cabinet, there was a spy that was dressed as a rabbi.
Perceive you as you requested, Father. That we've switched into a different realm altogether is not entirely new, Dungeon Master, but that I have a feeling that we may want to see where we bank it to in, like, the next 8 or 9 dungeons. I'm sensing something. I'm sensing the Dungeon Master's going to get a level up and beyond level 60. And when we get to level 60, that means the bottom level character that we gained, the Archbishop of Canterbury, who is turning into a cleric who will become a wizard, and that these men in here are dressed up, but they're actually the Wizards of Discontent. And the Wizards of Discontent are like Wizards of the Coast, and that way in Dungeon Master it does make sense that the Thunder Master is the one who's showing that Wizards of the Coast highly approves of good things, means that we're in for good things. But that doesn't mean that the slyest character in the world has just tricked everyone into thinking he's the Archbishop Duke of Canterbury's very repugnant long lineage of why the French should avoid their own stereotype because they have none, even when they try about not looking realistic. And that just makes them look even more realistic. So here is I can't stop doing it either. All I'm doing is giving a movie review to Fuyard, and yet this is supposed to be a dungeon? All right, that's it. Controls we go. Scan forward. Carry on, my wayward son, as Guar would say. Come on now. You know, this is pretty interesting. Let's try this. This looks like an interesting thing. All of a sudden it looks like the whole county force of nomenclature of design is being tricked again. Would you allow me to bring some religious comfort? I don't like the looks of this. It looks like one of those pamphlets everybody knows is fake. And that it's God. Well, who's God? I thought he was the devil dressed as God? This is getting weird because all they're doing is hanging out doing things that you can really do in real life. And if that's where the devil went, oh no. I'm still critiquing Fuyard. Let's watch a little bit with that KMSA in the background. 91.3. Okay, I've been quiet too long. We don't want to have a break in speech and suddenly think that we're just getting away with anything we want, because we're not. But that I am warning you that this dungeon is still only about halfway through, and if you're not paying attention to every movement, you might not catch the level up in the 3 more dungeons we have to spread through. That we have to spread through 8 more dungeons times 3 is more like it. And that's not even enough, so we'll go beyond that and just prove it when we get there that we were Wizards of the Coast worthy, which we've already proven, but all the way through we have to prove that. And while we have a bumpy camera, it's gonna be okay because we have faith in the security of the image we see. Not so much that it's a stabilized image on YouTube, which it is, and YouTube be thy name, and YouTube rules, and we all love YouTube. We're not just saying that, we love YouTube. I mean, we want to show videos on how to make YouTube videos like you want us to, YouTube. Here's how to make a movie. Make it like this one. I mean, if you had sound in this film and still made it like the same way that this film was made, oh, you're doing it again, pass it to me. So now that we're in this dungeon and not critiquing the film, because that's all we do all day is critique films, and you want me to sit here and think this is a final paper or something, but it's not. Dungeon Master 34 is nowhere near... Oh, we've already said that, all right. So he's pulling this big trunk, and it took him halfway through the movie to get it open, halfway through the movie to get it closed. And I'm not analyzing this to say he's pushing that cannon on a track as though he knows where the trajectory and projection of the cannon's going to be. That he's working under hypnosis, we'll never know. The hypnosis CD, DVD is on the other disc, and that we may never catch the end of it if we don't make it through all the episodes of Les Vampires. But we're not going to, because we're not completely the hacks you were looking for. That this is a commemoration of old dungeons we've been through, and the devil, Satan, is in this one, and he's casting curses on all those people that don't agree with him in any way. And they will suffer the tortures of the damned. But meanwhile, the French police won't be pardoned by their diligence, except that everyone's now pardoning them by their diligence. So that's going to work out. And that Irma Vep has worked her way into the crowd doesn't even mean that police officer quite knows what's going on. Now, if you watch that ship and watch that cannon, something's going to happen here that maybe going the KMSA route wouldn't be so bad. But that the energy seems shut down, and now it's back. And we must dissipate. We're dissipating in sound on the monitor, on the Fouillard monitor. Now we're in the dungeon that has a cannon. And if you weren't paying attention, he's got these threads that he's threading over here, and he's going to shoot the cannon off. We're not analyzing the image. Oh, he blew that ship up, dude. Oh, did you see that? Oh, dude. Okay, I'm not sensationalizing sensationalism, but I hope you know that he just blew that shit up, dude. I mean, ship up, not shit up. We can't say that over the air anyway. And that we would even try is dastardly. No, I'm kidding. We can say a few bad words. Come on now. It's not like you haven't heard a few jimmies. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know what that means. This guy's over here. He's like, ow, I'm getting this thread of cord out of here. And that you're getting all comical on me makes no sense, because I think it's funny that you analyze the film when you don't say you will. And here is the female that loved Durand as a child, his own mother, or is it his mother, or Count Valesky from the first episode? Countess Valesky, of course. Sorry, Durand, I wouldn't want to rant on your mother as being nothing more than a wonderful woman and a raising of great sons. And that they're all looking at this thing together isn't even a classical notion that we've got in our eye the candid rumor that he is going to sell her the deed to the course, and she just had to put on her monocle to find out, and they're going to take very good care of this lady, is what she was expecting. But that she doesn't expect to be blindsided by Le Vampire is not really inevitable, because this movie is 7 hours long, and we're not watching all 7 hours, don't worry. We're watching the next 7 minutes. And I hope the next 7 minutes don't climax at the boat exploding, but I think the whole movie climaxed there pretty much. And then Irma Vep was in the back of the boat, and she jumped out before it blew, you gotta remember, but you know what? I'm fighting for my rights to party. Let's go forward. Now that they're talking in here, we don't need to see that much. They're still deciphering clues. They got another red code book, which they were supposed to have returned, which it kind of pissed me off if a couple of detectives stole my red code book. But if I was the detective and got the red code book, I'd do the same thing. So we're going here, and we're going to watch him tidy up these cuneiforms. And that this is strangely in fast forward is not enough to admit that it would be a rather oddly long scene, only because we have imprints of paintings of the pictures that I'm not bagging on for being wrong shots. That the whole movie is a long shot for ever being seen from audience is slowed down by films like this. That we're going to go a ways in the under-cranking, which makes it go forward faster, the over-cranking of the film projector camera. And if you undercrank the delay of the projector or camera, it will go faster.
And this is actually just a fast forwarded on DVD, which you can see the pristine way they skip from shot to shot. And that little kid, I can't spoil this too much, but that little kid is the one that kills the devil in this. And he does it on accident because he shoots him. And that the devil is in man form, this will offend you even more as a movie, to them saying that this little kid, who's kind of a little, not really a pest, but a tease to his uncle, and that his uncle teases him, isn't enough to prove that the uncle came out of his evil side of Le Vampire. That he was only a vampire for a couple of scenes he's going to have held against him by his companion, his nephew. Now, his nephew does actually beat the devil, and this might be the part where he does, but I don't think it was the same part, because he wouldn't take his nephew into danger, would he now? And that now we can say we are analyzing the film scene in a fast-forward way that still looks by a restored version, and I've seen the Blu-ray restored. It's even more amazing. With this amazing print will never be forgotten, and that the devil's getting furious means we've got to let it linger here for a while. That we don't but have a fetch away from the combinations into play, from the things we do. Level up! That was the 8th dungeon you went through to get to this dungeon. This dungeon took 8 dungeons to get through one Thundermaster dungeon. Now that it isn't even dungeon done. It isn't. We got a ways to go, and it doesn't matter what the narrator says, because we're going through this dungeon and we're going to make it, even if we have to hit regular play to hear some of the movie music that we like so much. So let's turn this back up. As you can hear KMSA and the movie music is a credit to how multimedia in the world kind of works. Now, the Dungeon Master is seen to have completely trapped the good guys. And that we're all scared that it's going to end on Durand being totally crippled in handshake from the toxicity of the Venominator who comes after the Satanator. Who's that? The Satanator and the Baconator and the Vampirator. All the things that we destroy us. That Fouillard was a smoker is not so evident in these soft edge focuses, which are always cleared by smoky sets. And that Durand is totally about to blow. Only Mazamet can prove his nobility further by saving Durand. And they're also worried that he was almost taken. His soul was almost taken to the clutches of it all. And to think that we've even got to see these kind of movies, to know these people really knew that they existed on the Grand Guignol, to prove how scary it could be to be in one of these movies is even scarier than how the movie is, except the movie's even scarier than most dungeons, just for being shot in low-key light, realistically, and for every shot to be steady. And it makes this camera, which is never steady, look ready to make this camera look unsteady. There was another bomb! Did you see that shiznit, bro? That dude threw a bomb and it was blowing up. Oh, his hat flew off and blew up, dude. That's like the opposite of Ghosts for Breakfast, who left those hat around ghosts. He threw his hat out there and it blew up, dude. That was a close one, Mazamet. Mazamet defies us in any other way than to thinking that he's showing off his nobility here. This is beautiful. And that now we have introduced you to the characters of Thundermaster and all the other Le Vampire episodes, which could count as 10 films or 1. It could count as 1 film or 10. When I counted as 10 films in 1. And that it's 10 films in 1 is no testament to its average length of over a feature worth time, usually anyway. That's 7 hours to find 10, I securely say that. Although I could be off on my rigid obtusity that sometimes carries me away and makes me think these movies don't have hope. They don't have love, but they do have hope and love. But hope is one to go, and we all know love is the last to go, and we all know that the Enchantress has departed me, become Irmavep, swept off to a different boat, blown up and not available till next episode. And if Irmavep's not available till next episode, then I'm calling cut on this film. Cut.